qeylIs, puqloD, puqbe'pu, yoHbogh, maHoHchu, SuvwI, maSuv, manong, maHoHchu, yInmaj of wovqu, maheghbej, vavpu'ma, DImuv, maSuvtaH, maMevQo, maSuvtaH, qeylIs, puqloD, puqbe'pu.
Hey everybody, Hostron here with another first edition Friday video. Today we sing songs of glory to the Empire, and we go over a bunch of different topics. So grab your tankard of warnog or blood wine and settle in, because we're going to have a conversation about some stuff. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, that's fine. Feel free to leave your own thoughts about what I talk about in the comment section of the video. And yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and you're about to get mine. So we're going to start off talking about a new card that just came out. It's a one-off release. It's not part of a regular set, and that is SuvwI. Seeds are plays on your Q stand. Playing only Klingon affiliation. You may play any event, interrupt, or objective with Klingon or Klingon affiliation in the game text, and it also has no point box from here as if from your hand. What that means practically is that there are a collection of Klingon cards that you can put into your Q's tent, and you can basically extend your hand into your Q's tent for those Klingon cards. Some of the examples are Ancient Citadel, Klingon Civil War, and a couple of others. Most notably Council of Warriors, batlh, etc. You can also grab, oddly enough, Espionage Klingon on Federation, and that is the only Klingon espionage card that there is, I believe. So that's the only one you can grab. And there's a handful of others. What you cannot get are Arbiter of Succession, because it has a point box, nor can you get Klingon Death Yell, because it has a point box. So I posted in the forums my opinion that I think that is an unnecessary restriction, and that it in some ways makes this card kind of barely playable, because realistically speaking, you're only really going to want to pull the Espionage Klingon on Federation out, and you really only maybe want to pull Ancient Citadel out for the card draw side. That's not nothing, but is it worth a whole seat slot? I would say probably not. But I decided I wanted to try to build a deck with this in mind. So this is what I have for you today, is this deck right here. And we're going to show that even though SuvwI cannot get us Arbiter of Succession on the opening turn, and we don't really care about Klingon Death Yell, well, you can just put a 1-in-7 ratio of Arbiter of Successions into your deck, and it's basically the same thing. Or you could put a bunch of Q's tents in there, and you could just grab it, playing a Q's tent from hand, and it's basically the same thing. Now, I get that they don't want to necessarily make getting bonus points that easy, but we've already crossed that bridge. Obsession is already a card of the game. Obsession is still a card that is being abused for bonus points. Yes, you can no longer do 26 points or times 2 or whatever with Planet Killer, but making Obsession, we've already kind of crossed that river, with bonus points being ridiculously easy. The bigger issue is that bonus points is a much bigger issue than any one individual card. And so restricting the design on SuvwI in order to, because we're confused, because we're a little concerned and confused about what to do about bonus points, doesn't mean that Arbiter of Succession should not have been, and Klingon Death Yell for that matter, should not have been included. To a point that was made, you can easily, with Arbiter of Succession and Klingon Death Yell, get 15 points for doing like nothing. Well, I can basically do the same thing with Obsession, getting the qeylIjDaq. I can get a qeylIjDaq out, and maybe I don't do it on turn 1, but I'm going to do it at some point, and it's going to basically be for nothing. Because, I have to shoot the qeylIjDaq. Oh, darn. This is not the card that's supposed to be in the deck. It's actually supposed to be Battle Bridge Auxiliary or Control, because we are playing with the 13 different tactics. For whatever reason, Battle Bridge Auxiliary Door just doesn't want to seem to save in this deck whenever I try to save it. I don't know why, but that's just kind of a problem. But I'll try to get that fixed, so when you see the link, it's there. But with Battle Bridge Door, with the fact that you're the one setting up your deck, it's very easy to get those bonus points. In my mind, the issue isn't the availability of bonus points, it's the lack of two things. One, it's the lack of negative bonus points in the game. I've said this before, I've posted this in the forums. My particular opinion is that it's ridiculously easy to get bonus points, but it is very difficult to make your opponent take negative bonus points. And if we have negative bonus points that are as easy to get as the positive bonus points, then you got that nice little push-pull. In the alternative, this card right here should have been made more potent. I don't have a problem with the way it was designed as is, but it could probably have been a bit more. It probably could have been a bit nastier. Now it is cumulative, so if you see more than one, the opponent does, have to keep, adding more bonus points onto what they can get. So if I was to say what to do, I would have just been a real game should have been non-duplicatable, seedable only, as a hidden agenda with no countdown. And then it should have just simply been, when it's revealed, players need 40 additional points to win the game, and then nullified if any player has solved or scouted 3 or more missions. And then basically it becomes, in a sense, kind of like the big picture of bonus points. Except that we're not going to put a referee card on it, and it's going to be seedable only. So if you want to play a 3-mission win deck, and you just don't want to necessarily get blown out by 2-mission win, you could just spend 1 seed slot and more or less shut it down. That was kind of originally what the big picture and those cards were designed to do. It's just that they turned it into referees, and now you have all these cards available. I don't think that we should make this a rule, because I still think that 2-mission win is something that should be, more or less viable, right? But I think that, either make bonus points more prolific so that you can try to hammer your opponent down and force them into a 3rd mission, or make a real game better, or leave a real game the way it is. Like I said, if you decide to make negative bonus points a little bit better, then a real game is perfectly fine. If you're not going to make negative bonus points a little bit more prolific, then a real game maybe needs to be a little bit stronger, or make a different version of it. Just make it an entirely different card. I don't know, as I am not in a position to be the one officially making the decisions here. I'm just the one who's in a position to stand on my soapbox. So, now that being aside, again, this is the deck I've put together for us today. It plays an Arbiter of Succession early in order to get additional card draws with legitimate Leader of the Empire. When your TNG Klingon and personnel is targeted by Arbiter of Succession, wins a battle or helps solve a mission, you may draw 2 cards. So the entire purpose of the Arbiter of Succession then is to simply turn that Klingon into 10 bonus points, but then also a card draw engine. We pair that with the Officer Exchange Program, which is a seedable wovqu card. And when we draw a card, we can then convert once every turn in place of a card draw. So yeah, once each turn in place of a card draw, you can download it, the PA or any TNG personnel with PA in Lord of Hand. So then we can fish for particular skills and particular personnel, fish for a ship. But yeah, so this is the deck. We'll do just a little bit of fish bowling with it so you guys can kind of see how it operates. Which then leads me to leads me to a total side point here. So when I was putting it together, I was like, in my mind, I knew that, like, my understanding is that SuvwI, the translation of that is continue to fight. But then when I put it in the when I actually put it into the translator, it comes up as continue to claw. I don't know. Maybe that is actually correct. My head tells me that SuvwI is continue to fight, but continue to claw is how it comes up in the English to Klingon translator, or Klingon to English translator. So therefore I titled the deck Continue to Claw in the neutral zone. So that's kind of the fun little twist that we're doing, is that we are playing these Klingons in the neutral zone. So it's TNG Klingons in the neutral zone, and we are trying to 2-mission win because we are doing 10 points from Arbiter of Succession, we're doing 15 points from Obsession, we're using the neutral zone to download Test for Weakness. Test for Weakness downloads an Earth outpost. And when we destroy that opposing outpost, we can score 10 points. So we can score 10, 25, 35 bonus points for doing a mission's worth of work. Which again becomes just another point of, well, here's the thing about bonus points. If the amount of work you have to put into it, and the amount of time it takes is roughly equal to how much effort and time it takes to complete a mission, is it fair? Is it unfair because you're not facing dilemmas? I don't know. It's definitely a difficult subject. It's a close call. A lot of it, I think, is probably a matter of perspective. But my perspective is that the amount of work it takes for this deck to accomplish 35 points is not nothing. And if the opponent had some negative bonus points they could guarantee to throw my way over the course of a game, then pushing me to a third mission isn't necessarily the word, then okay, fine, you push me to a third mission because you've invested in some negative bonus points, I invested in some positive bonus points, there we go. So that's my opinion. My opinion is that this is not a problem, the problem isn't with bonus points, it's the lack of negative bonus points, it's the lack of con being a worthwhile play, which is another thing. Like con as a card, being able to nullify an opponent's positive bonus points. You have to draw it, you have to draw it on time, and you have to stock it in your deck, you have to draw it on time, you have to play it on time. Whereas if you just put some negative bonus points in your deck, you don't have the timing on those don't necessarily have to be there. You just simply have to find those negative points before the game is over. So that's the problem with con, is that it's a very timing based solution. All right, so we're in the neutral zone with TNG Klingons, and we're trying to 2-mission win, and we use SuvwI basically as a way for us to get access to Ancient Citadel for some card draws, or Council of Warriors if we want to score some additional bonus points, like we solve Sea's Freighter with Council of Warriors on it. And then if the opponent is a type of deck where they want to maybe like mix it up with us, we can score some bonus points off of Council of Warrior kills and stuff like that. So But we have 35 bonus points coming to us. We also kind of have this side package of captain stuff because we are playing with the auxiliary battle bridge. We will get the outside the game, make it so. And because we have guaranteed access with Officer Exchange Program to get the PA and its matching commander, we do have the guaranteed ability to get our captain's log stuff going. Cool? Cool. All right. Now, that takes me to my next controversial topic. I've set up a game for fish bowling purposes, and I've used exactly the mission set that was used in Germany recently for the Romulan drones deck. Now, if you're an opponent, if you're at a tournament and your opponent puts out Romulus and basically any mission set, Romulan drone is what you should just be thinking, right? If they want to surprise you with, if they do surprise you just by kind of, playing something else, well, that's fine. Anything that you would use or do that would try to stop Romulan drones can basically stop any of those other Romulan decks. So, what I've done is, for our deck, we have 12 seed cards, so that leaves us with 18 dilemmas, so we can put 3 across the board. And I've put together what I think is a combination of dilemmas that is really good against Romulan drones, but is also something I would be perfectly happy to take into a tournament and play against anybody. So the thing about Romulan drones is they cannot relocate on the space line. They cannot, if the ship requires staffing to get past, they can't get past it. And if you maybe mass kill them with a dilemma, then you probably take out their empathy, and now they got to find more empathy, etc., etc. Right? And so what we have here is we have this combo right here with Smock's Brain will require a science to be there. So they have to send their ship with the science personnel on board to get past, and then they could be able to continue on. But the thing is, though, is that if they attempt with that ship, then they cannot attempt with anybody else. So they're sending that personnel in, and then they can have the Romulan drones come in behind it. But at the very least, you force them to probably lose a turn, and then commit the other ship sending somebody in. Here we have yInmaj requiring a staffed ship in orbit, or you get to just kill 2 people of your choice. And then the attempt ends, and everybody is stopped because it's an unless. So you force them to staff a ship here at Romulus, which is not that big of a deal, but it is something. And then we followed up with a Hippocratic Oath, which once again requires that they have personnel there to relocate, and then a medical crisis, which is good. But the bigger thing is, though, is that this combo is good against anybody. This is a planet combo I would play against anybody. And yet it's really good against Romulan drones at a planet mission. And if it's their only planet mission, great. This is, and as you're going to see here, we basically just have 2 medical crisis combos with Hippocratic Oath. And if I'm not playing against Romulan drones, I can just do some dilemma swapping here. I can move the M113 creature over to this one, and we can just do a quick little swap right here, and we're perfectly happy. But if we're playing against Romulan drones, we can just kind of put this nuclear disarmament at their planet mission and kill all their temporal agents in play. Or if we really want to, we can move the nuclear disarmament over here. We put misinterpreted history over here, and we put M113 creature here. And look at that. If they attempt this space mission first, we can shut them down. And then if they attempt this planet mission, well, we're killing somebody good, and then we're beiging them and forcing them to go elsewhere. And then there's a garbage scow behind it, which the Romulan drone deck just is going to have a very hard time beating. I mean, they have to have... they're going to be stocking the dual dilemma nullifier, but, All right. So, and then over here in space, we have persistent individuality, which, again, if they try to attempt one of these space missions like right away, they're only going to have like 4 people in play probably in the first turn, maybe 5. And generally speaking, the ones that they're going to have are not going to cover a bunch of different classifications. And so if they attempt with, like, say, 4 people and they only have 3 classifications, well, we kill 4. Well, then that's everybody who's there, and the only people who can die are the empathy people, so we just kill their empathy. Whatever empathy they had is gone. And now they know they have to rebuild and be at a persistent individuality. But then, once they do that, then they are facing an arsenal divided. Well, then they have to commit an entire ship full of people all the way out here, which are as close to us, so we could possibly get over to them and kill everybody. But more importantly, the arsenal divided goes into v'ger, and v'ger is a pretty stout dilemma. And chances are they're not going to risk their empathy. Maybe they do. Maybe they see this coming. Maybe they don't. Either way, though, they got to commit enough people to get past arsenal divided with the ship, and we can shoot them. But they have to get their people there, and they have to do that. But again, this is a combo that I would play against anybody. I would play persistent individuality into arsenal divided into v'ger against any deck, right? So there we go. Here are 6 combos that are good against basically everybody. In particular the board, because with double persistent individuality, we're gonna be wrecking them. And then obviously medical crisis with Hippocratic Oath and M113 creature. That's enough to kind of slow a Borg deck down just a little bit, especially with M113 creature in front of it. We can kill their queen. If you sense Borg is coming, what you can do is, instead of arsenal divided, you could actually move the M113 over to here. And so you could just flat out blow up their cube. You put the M113 creature here. Again, it's not about the fact that these are set combos. It's about the fact that these are all decent combos. This set of 18 dilemmas can be manipulated to deal with a lot of different decks. But as I'm showing it to you, it's really good against Romulan drones. It will buy you enough time to be able to be in the game with them. So, all right. That controversial topic out of the way again. And we'll just do a quick fishbowl now with the Klingon deck itself on its own merits. Oh, look at that. We have an Arbiter of Succession. We actually have a Gowron in our hand. And we have qeylIs, who's pretty good. We've got a Tong drop available to us here, over here on this side of the space line for us. We're good. All right. So, yeah. All right. So we have some options of what we want to do here. We are going to just go ahead and Tong drop, I think. So we're going to Tong drop here into the neutral zone. We'll bring Gowron in. And then we will bring in Dokar, and we'll bring in, let's bring in Conmel. And then we can free play qeylIs directly to, well, let's do it this way. We'll play these guys, and then we will free play, these guys, and then we'll use legitimate leader, maybe report for free to your outpost, to him, or to your Klingon outpost. So we'll report to him Conmel, No, wait. How did I want to do this? Wait, these guys have special downloads. No, we'll just do it this way. Let's just go. Is it unique Klingon or is this any Klingon? I always forget that. No, your non-treachery doesn't even matter. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go. These guys report using the tong, and then we go attention all hands reports him for free over here. That draws us a card with the continuing mission. We turn that into a download. And then we will download Kargan. And then we will use the legitimate leader of the Empire's free play of Kargan directly to the outpost. Okay. And then what we can do is we can move the Tong 7 range. Although it has Katemic on it, so let's just do this now. We're just going to go ahead and make it so. Discard. Owner. Ready room door. Re-ready room door for a defiant dedication plaque. We'll put this on top of the deck. And then now we actually have 9 range with this ship, so we can go 5, 8 all the way to here. And then we're gonna play Arbiter of Succession directly onto Kargan, and he has to fight. We'll have him fight Dokar. So, targeting. I looked this up in the glossary. Arbiter of Succession is targeting these two, because it's basically playing on them. And then that immediately sets up targeting for legitimate leader of the Empire. So when one of them is targeted, wins a battle, or helps solve a mission, draw 2 cards. So he is targeted, he wins, kills him, he won a battle, we draw 2 cards. And now this is on Kargan, so let's just go ahead and make a note. So it's on Kargan. All right, and then, yeah, and then we can simply go to the end of turn. And we can just simply draw, we draw 1 card for end of turn, we draw 1 card for the neutral zone. Because we have a staffed ship in the neutral zone and exposed in its non-federation. Cool. So that's turn 1, and our qeylIjDaq will move to here. Opponent has their turn. Let's say that they're like, okay, cool, let's go all the way out here to this end one and try to do this mission before maybe I can shoot them, or one of these 2 missions. And then, yeah, persistent individuality will set them back. Now they need to find more empathy before they can continue. All right, goes to turn 2. We'll free play maSuvtaH as our attention all hands. That draws us a card. We'll convert that to a download. Of the paThh. Into hand, we'll have that VR card play, and then we're going to just go ahead and free play yInmaj with legitimate leader of the Empire. We're going to use the neutral zone to download the test for weakness and download the Federation the Earth outpost here. We're going to use ready room door, and that's going to download us a captain's log, and that'll go on top of the deck. And then we can have Kargan get on board his ship. And I suppose we'll have Chorus and Clegg join on just to be safe. And they're going to fly to here. And we've got the Tong here. And it's got its matching commander on board. So this ship has 9 weapons. This ship has 10 weapons. And we'll open fire on the Earth outpost. Sorry, end of opponent's turn. Let's move to here. So we open fire on the Earth outpost. So we'll draw 3 tactics with the auxiliary control battle, and then we'll draw a 4th tactic with the Pa. So we draw 1, we draw 2, we draw 3, we draw 4 tactics. We like quantum torpedoes because why not? So we tag it with quantum torpedoes. So these go on top of over here so that they're kind of out of play. So now we've got even base, we would actually have enough, even without the captain's log, because we've got 6 plus 7 is 13 plus 5 is 18. So we're gonna like double flip. We have 18, we actually have 24 weapons, I think, then, right? So we have 13, 16, 20, yeah, 19, 24 weapons. Yeah, I think 24 weapons. Cool. So we flip onto the Earth outpost twice. This goes to here. Our Arbiter of Succession personnel won a battle. And so we actually draw 2 cards. And then we go to end of turn. This moves to here. And we draw 2 cards. End of turn and neutral zone. And then we go to turn. Opponent has their turn too. Not quite sure what they do. If they replay some people, they gotta maybe like not do this one. So yeah. Turn 3. We will free play Sons of Mogh with legitimate leader of the Empire. Half of that will draw us a card with continuing missions. So we draw a card and we'll download a person. Like Zegoff or our Pa person we download. Show play for free is a universal. And we will card play Baator. And then, oh sorry, we're card play Baator. She's gonna download Lursa. We can ready room door and get lower decks on the board. And we can use ready room door to protect captain's log. And now on turn 3 we actually have enough people and things that we can just kind of maneuver around here a little bit, because we want to possibly attempt a mission here. So what we would do is we would, because again we have plenty of range. It only takes us 7 range to go back here, so both of these ships can do it even with just the neutral zone. So what we can do is we would actually just move these ships back to here. Kargan and Katemek would just not be involved here. And we can have the Tong fly back with some, with some people. And then don't have our guy. So, and then yeah, unless we face a yInmaj, which is a possibility, we could just simply beam these people down, and they'd be able to attempt. Or maybe we have just some of these people do it. I mean, we could quite literally just have like qeylIs and qeylIs and zgov and Lursa just beam down. Doesn't really matter who does it, but they'd be able to beam down and attempt. We'd be able to see what dilemma is there, and then we'd be able to fly the puqh back, and we'd put qeylIs back on his ship, and we'd put Kargan would stay on his ship. And Kargan was never at risk to anything. So if for whatever reason the opponent did put like an M113 creature here, Kargan was not at risk. And then we'd be able to open fire again. And we once again get to draw 4 tactics. And we like pulse disruptors just because we're Klingons. Those go over to here. We have enough. We do 2 flips again, and we get 35 plus 25 is 60, 95 plus. So then Earth Outpost is destroyed. This moves to here on the opponent's turn. So Earth Outpost is destroyed. We score 10 points from Test for Weakness. We draw 2 cards because our Arbiter was there. And then we would once again draw 2 cards to end the turn. Yeah. And that's kind of the opening moves here for this deck. Once we've done that, then we're just basically waiting on the qeylIs to finally arrive. At the end of our turn, it would move to here, and the end of the opponent's turn, it actually sits down right on top of us. So then on our turn 4, we're definitely able to just go ahead and do 2 things at once here. We can basically just figure out who's attempting hostage crisis, and we can have our little strike team here fly over. And of course we could do it this way too. We've got Vojin for free as a universal that draws us a card. We would grab William T. Riker. He can free play. With Legitimate Leader, and then we can card play qIjDaq. And then qIjDaq can gain any skill that we would possibly need to be able to beat anything at Hostage Crisis. And with the paw having 11 range, it can actually go 3 back to here to draw people off, and then still back to here. Because it goes 3, 7, 11, or sorry, 3, 7, 10. So the paw can actually like do the maneuvering around to see who's solving here, and then still be able to get back. To be on time to fire on the qeylIs, and we can just do this as 2 separate battles because why not? Both ships have at least 9 shields with the captain's log. And so the qeylIs is not going to damage us in return in any way, shape, or form, so we can just do it as 2 separate battles if we want to. So we could do the Tong first. The Tong can open fire with a quantum torpedo. And damages the qeylIs. The qeylIs now has -2 shields, so it's down to 7. And then the paw can open fire with 4 card draws. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can just simply have, let's see here. So we're at, can we get over 16 with the paw itself? No, we can't, it doesn't really matter. So we would go put card maneuver, so even if there was the possibility, we'd still have a 50-50 chance of being safe. So we do 2 more flips, and that's enough to destroy it. Because we've got 30, 60, 95, over again. So the qeylIjDaq is destroyed, that's another 15 points, so now we're at our 35. And we're busting through hostage crisis here on turn 4, hopefully, between qIjDaq and our dial skill with Officer Exchange Program on turn 4, we should be able to push through hostage crisis. Assuming that Chorus doesn't die, there's another 5 bonus points, so we could solve this for 40. And then we've scored over here, we've scored our 10, we've scored our 10, and we've scored our 15. And so yeah, 75 points, and I mean right now only 70 of those count towards winning, but then we would just simply solve C's freighter. For the win. And that's something you could easily threaten on turn 5, turn 6 with this deck. And again, let's also keep in mind, that's a space line set up where our opponent actually has like pretty stout span missions here. They've got a 4 and a 4 and a 4. And our Cytherian lure ended up in the middle of it somehow. And then finally there's some 3s before R3. But our qeylIjDaq kind of got slowed down just a little bit. But there you go. It's also, and that's assuming that our opponent put it over here. That's kind of like the worst case scenario that I like to do when I'm playtesting. If our opponent had put it over here, it would have been end of turn 1. It goes to here, and then end of opponent's turn, it would go to here. And then we wouldn't be able to shoot it first. We wouldn't be able to just tag it first before we tag the Earth outpost. So, yeah. The timing works. And of course, if we're playing against an opponent who's an entirely separate quadrant from us, that's kind of the methodology. Whichever end they put it on, we're tagging it right. We're tagging it first, and then we blow up the Earth outpost second. And that's our 2-mission win in the neutral zone with Klingons, of all things. So, some quick little strategy considerations. If for some odd reason you don't want to do C's freighter, what we can do, again, to showcase the card as it is, not the way we would like it to be, the SuvwI has the ability for us to grab our espionage, and we can attempt patrol neutral zone with the espionage. So if we're in a mirror matchup, we would have the ability to steal a patrol neutral zone from the opponent. It may not look that way, but we would be able to do it. We would of course have to blow them up. So if they're playing Borg, that's going to be a little difficult, but you know, against anybody else, we might be able to, with our Klingon ships, get aggro on them and blow them up, and then be able to steal their patrol neutral zone that we know exactly what's coming. So, again, this is a combo. This is a combo that we can just get through. I mean, we can get through this one too. We could probably maybe put this one there. We'd be able to put like persistent individuality there, where we send in everything we need to beat all this, and we know that we have to beat the V'ger. So this is a combo that we can slide past that the opponent can't necessarily. So even if we don't steal it, it's fine. Yeah, we really we have 2 missions that we cannot attempt, and so the espionage is available for us for either one of them. So if if you don't want to do hostage crisis for a reason, you get locked out of it, whatever, we We do have investigate decaying radiation that we can do as our planet mission. You can theoretically do Cytherean's lure, but then, yeah, you probably have to do an additional mission, possibly. There's a lot of flexibility with this deck, oddly enough. We have the temporal. We do have the temporal conduit, so that we can download the stone knives and bear skin, so that we can't get locked out by Mia and her transport inhibitor. And since we're playing Klingons, we can just kill her very happily. We did have attention all hands to be able to get us a ship, so even if we hadn't drawn the Tong in our opening hand, we actually do have a universal Vorchild we can get to pair with our to pair with our IKS Pa. So yeah, it all just kind of works out. It's almost as if I designed it this way. Then we have 7 Arbiters of Succession, so the chances of drawing one in our opening hand is actually a 50-50 chance, roughly, because it is a 1 in 7 draw. I have fishbowled this deck 5 times. I have drawn an Arbiter of Succession every single time. As a matter of fact, 2 of those 5 fishbowls, I actually drew more than one Arbiter of Succession, and that includes this one too. Matter of fact, the other one was ugly. I actually drew 3 Arbiters of Succession in that opening hand, and the deck still basically worked exactly how I wanted it to. So you can easily add in, like, even if you want to hedge your bet, you can always still add in a couple more Arbiters of Succession, and you're fine. Once you have your 1 Arbiter of Succession, the deck just moves very nicely. You get 2 card draws from battle, you get 2 card draws for the end of turn with Neutral Zone, you get a card draw from Continuing Mission. So you're drawing 5 cards a turn, and you're 2 mission winning, and you're doing it from a place that your opponent doesn't necessarily expect, which is Klingons in the Neutral Zone. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, feel free to comment below with your thoughts on any of the things that I have talked about. Feel free to disagree with me. It's fine, I don't care. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And then, as always, like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. I have been slowly getting a trickle of subscribers. I'm very happy for all of you to join my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and may the batlh be with you.